Batman, Caped Crusader. Released. All episodes released on August 1st, 2024. Released on Amazon Prime. Based on Batman by Bill Finger. Created by Bruce Timm. Rotten Tomatoes, 95. IMDb, 7.4. Metacritic 74. Welcome back to Real Reviews. Like always, I am your host, Lee. Today we are talking about Batman, Caped Crusader. This is an animated series in a similar style to the Batman animated series from the 90s. Honestly, as someone who grew up on X-Men and Batman, this is right up my alley. But let's talk about it. So this seems to serve almost like a Batman Year One setup. This is about Batman in the very start of his career in Gotham. Many of the big bads that we know and love aren't set up yet, so we get introduced to several as the show goes on. It does rely on the viewer being familiar with Batman, as it tosses out loads of character names in passing that are references. I think the writing is overall pretty good. A few times I found myself getting a bit bored, but they were few and far between. The voice acting is top-notch, as is to be expected from an animated superhero show. The animation is near perfect. Honestly, there aren't a lot of flaws when you really break it down. I read through reviews mainly wanting to see what negative reviews were saying. I found two main complaints. Both are subjective, but one more so than the other. The first complaint is the animation. I feel like it captures what they intended, but if it isn't for you, it isn't for you. It is trying to recreate the animation of the 1993 series. I did see some comments about the design of the women in the show. Pretty plainly put, most of the female characters don't look like supermodels. For some like Harley Quinn, who we expect to be a gymnast, that would be a fair criticism, but they don't seem to have her with that part of her background, at least not yet. I also could have missed a line or something in the background. This is largely a preference thing in the end. It wasn't enough to really take me out of the show. The second was writing. I am not sure if people didn't like that there aren't a lot of through lines that go between episodes, or if we are spoiled on DC-rated our animated shows like Harley Quinn and Kite Man, or if nostalgia or it being over 30 years old and not remembering that the animated series wasn't perfect. This show is written largely in a villain of the week format. The conflict is started and resolved each episode. There is no background villain that has been introduced yet that is the mastermind behind everything. Most of the connecting stories in this are about Gotham and the GCPD. On to some questions.
How does the series handle the portrayal of Gotham City? What aesthetic choices are made to give the city a distinct atmosphere or personality?
This show goes back to the more classic 1940s look. So we don't get a bunch of crazy gadgets, but we do get classic-looking cars and weapons, which I think is a really good look for Batman and Gotham.
How does Batman, Caped Crusader, explore the psychological aspects of Bruce Wayne and his alter ego? Are there specific episodes that delve deeply into his psyche?
There is a really good episode that talks about this. I believe it is the first, with Harleen Quinzel acting as a court-ordered therapist for Bruce, and by the end she basically calls him out for never dealing with his trauma and pretending to be something that he isn't. I don't really think that this show goes into depth about how psychology can greatly impact the person that you are, like we have gotten in other shows or movies, but it does hint at it heavily.
How does the series balance action sequences with deeper storytelling? Are the action scenes integral to character development and plot progression?
This show is a lot more about story over action. Fights don't need to be long and drawn out. It is a story about a Batman starting out and how a corrupt and crime-filled Gotham reacts to that. The most interesting story points have little to do with Batman at all. So I gave this show an 8 out of 8 on my ratings, or a 10 out of 10. This doesn't mean that it is perfect. It only means that it met the criteria that I am looking for in a show. Like always, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I typically try to have 2 videos out per week, real reviews like this or AI reviews depending on release schedules. Until next time.